हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम पढ़ेंगे क्लास 6 का इंग्लिश लाइव टेक्स्ट बुक का चैप्टर नंबर 5, द मैन ऑन द आइलैंड. It's not island, it's island. Many people are gonna spell it wrong, so I'm gonna tell you that S is silent over here. And the writer of this story is Robert Louis Stevenson. This is a very famous writer, so you have to remember his name because it may ask you in the exam who is the writer of the story named The Man on the Island. So, obviously Ireland. So, you have to answer Robert Louis Stevenson. So, are we going to read about Robert Louis Stevenson, or let us start our chapter? Okay, anyways, let us start our chapter. Squire Trelawney is a nobleman in the village. When Jim Hawkins discovered a treasure map which belonged to pirate, Trelawney had means to hire a ship and take Jim and Dr. Livesey to local doctor on a real-life treasure hunt. Read on to find out what happens to Jim reaches the island and realizes that someone is following him. Okay, so let's start with our chapter. Some stones came down rolling the side of hill. Somebody was up there among the trees. I saw a figure run from one tree to next. It was a strange figure, dark and hairy it was. Was it a man or a monkey? Was it a wild man? I felt. So, this is a story about a person, okay? And with whose name is Jim. He went to an island and he felt like someone is following him. And his experience was like some stones came down from the hill, and he was feeling like somebody is passing from among the trees. He was like confused that is it a man or a monkey or something anything else. The creature followed me on and on I ran. The creature was never far away. As fast as a hare it ran. Its body bent almost double, but it moved like a man on two legs. If it is a man, why am I afraid? Ask myself. I have pistol. So now, this tells like the man who is following, the man or any monkey type who is following him, run as faster as Jim ran, and he came following Jim. He was running like he was bended. His backbone was not good, and he was bended and then running. So he was confused, was it a man or a monkey? And then he asked himself, is it a man? And if it is a man, then why am I afraid? Because agar koi man hai to you don't have to be afraid about that. I stopped running. I took my pistol. Okay, so he had a pistol. Pistol means gun. Goli, banduk. These are synonyms in Hindi and English. Okay. From the belt, walked towards the creature. I came out from the behind tree trunk, moved 2 or 3 steps toward him, and then stopped. It was a man. So he took out the gun from his side pocket belt, and then he walked towards that creature. He took 1 to 2 steps, and then he saw that it was a. So you can see the picture over here. He took the gun, he saw that it was a man, and then he was surprised. Now, okay, he threw himself on knees, just as shown in the picture. He clasped his hands and held them out to me. He seemed to be begging for mercy. Now, the man who was on the island was very kind of poor. He wore the clothes like his clothes were all torn. He then came on his knees and then was begging for mercy. He was requesting not to shoot with the gun. Who are you? I asked. He replied, it was Bengal. I am poor Bengal. I have tried here all alone these 3 years. 3 years all by myself. So this man who was found on the island was named Ben Gunn, and he was living here from 3 years. 3 years all by himself. He was a white man like myself, but he seemed been burned black by the sun. His blue eyes looked strange in the dark face. His hair and beard were long and snow white. His clothes were rags, held together by sticks or strings. So he now says like the the man was like he was white in color. His face, his body was white, like we have now white colored people, black colored people. So he was a white man, but he was burnt black by the sun. If we stay in a sun for a long time, we get black. So generally that what's happened to him. So he was made black by the sun. His blue eyes looked strange in his dark face. His hair and beard were long, and he was old, so his hair and beard were long and white colored. His clothes were rags. Rags means like बोरा जानते हैं आप लोग, उस टाइप का बोरा टाइप इसका कपड़ा था जो लकड़ियों और धागे से किसी तरह साथ में जुड़ा हुआ था. Okay. 3 years, I cried. Were you shipwrecked? No, I was marooned. So, बोलते हैं कि were you shipwrecked? Shipwrecked means was your ship attacked by someone else, or you have been like some caddy, some prisoner. So he was said like, no, I was marooned. Marooned means left here. Means he was left in this island alone. I began to feel very sorry for the poor fellow marooned, left alone by their pirates, left here to die slowly of hunger, although he had managed somehow to live on. So now the man Jim, the name of the man was Jim. He was feeling very sorry for him because staying in an island where no people stay, and staying up for their plucking foods, finding food, where to stay, clothes, it is too hard for a person. So he have stayed there 3 years long, and that's a big thing. He was very sorry for him, and although he was managed to somehow live on this island, marooned, repeated Ben Gunn. 3 years ago, I lived on a wild goats, berries, and shellfish. Ah, I wouldn't like to proper food. You don't have any cheese with you. Night after night, I have dreamt about cheese. What wouldn't I give for just a taste? Okay. So now Bengan was like uh, very sad for about being marooned, and then he had been like he was in the forest kind of island. So in forest generally you cannot find good food for the people. You have to live on green leaves or berries, dry berries. So that would not be tasty to eat. So now he was requesting to Jim that if you had any cheese, then please give it to me, as cheese was his favorite. Day and night he dreamt about cheese, and he said he would give anything for just one taste of it. Means उसे बस थोड़ा सा टेस्ट चाहिए था उस चीज़ का, और उस चीज़ का टेस्ट से वो उसके लिए कुछ भी दे सकता था. I'm sorry, I said, I don't happen to have any cheese with me, but if I get on a board again, you shall have all cheese you can eat. Bennigan had been fingering the cloth of my coat and stocking hands. He stopped suddenly and asked sharply, who's stopping from you from going on a board? Not you, I know, I answered. Ah, no, not I. What's the name, my lad? Jim. Okay. Now he said that he didn't have any cheese to him, and then he said like, if I will go on a board, then I would ask for cheese, and then you would have been eating it. So Bengan then replied like, who is stopping you to go to a board? So देन ही आस्क एम आई स्टॉपिंग यू, क्या मैं तुम्हें रोक रहा हूँ किसी शिप्स को रोकने के लिए या फिर उस पर चढ़ने के लिए? तो बोला नहीं नहीं मैन, तुम नहीं रोक रहे मुझे। मीन्स वो जो आइलैंड वाला मैन था वो बोलता है कि तो तुम जाओ किसी शिप को बोलो, मतलब जो आसपास दिख रही हो उसे रोको और फिर चीज़ के लिए डिमांड करो। तो देन उसने बोला कि कैसे करूँ? तो बोलता है कि मैंने तुम्हें किसी शिप को रोकने से मना नहीं किया है, तुम रोको, ठीक है, ऐसे ही। एंड देन ही आस्क व्हाट्स योर नेम माई लाद। लाद इज समथिंग लाइक यू डियर, यू से डियर ना, लाइक हेलो my friend, hello dear. So it's something like lad. So he replied Jim. We know his name was Jim. Jim, he repeated. Then in a rush he told me, well Jim, I have been living a rough life, but I was carefully brought up. My mother was a good woman. She taught me to say my prayers. Then I went wrong and then brought me here. But I have been thinking, if ever I get off this island, I'm going to lead a good life, a good holy life, Jim. So then he said, like, his life was full of disappointments, and he was not living a very smooth life. He was leading a rough, tough life. And his mother was a good woman. She taught him prayers and good manners, but he went in a wrong way. He was not good. He didn't like this. So he told like, if I get a chance to live my life once more, I will have a good life. सो मुझे लगता है वीडियो बहुत ही बड़ी हो गई है, तो हम इसको नेक्स्ट वीडियो में पूरा कवर कर लेंगे। ठीक है, सो प्लीज़ लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब।